We are live here on Everyday Ethics. I'm your host, Michael Liebowitz. We've got a robust audience already. We've got the wonderful Persephone here to instigate the discussion. I hope everybody here watched my debate earlier with Jeffrey Capella. I thought it was a very good discussion. Persephone, I hope, has a good discussion for us here. Remember, super chats, super stickers, bring them. They are welcome. Persephone, take it away, lady.
Okay, so first of all, we did get a question submitted on the website from Katrin. And she said, how do you handle a situation where someone hasn't done anything wrong, but you simply don't enjoy their company and feel drained after spending time with them? There's a person in my life who often wants to meet up or attend events together, but our conversations feel very one sided. They mostly talk about themselves and don't really notice when I disengage. I don't want to hurt them, but I also don't want to keep spending time in a dynamic that feels exhausting and unfulfilling. What is the ethical way to set boundaries in a situation like this? Is it better to be fully honest or to keep things vague in order to avoid hurting the other person?
Um, Well, look, I think it's very important to start off with your premises off the bat that you don't owe this person friendship. So the fact that the person hasn't done anything wrong is irrelevant. If you don't share interests or you don't enjoy company, you don't owe this person. So we have to start there. Then Persephone can make a face at me. Then it's how do you want to broach the subject? I mean, you don't have to go and say, listen, asshole, you're incredibly boring. I really don't need to be around you. But you can say, listen, we just don't share interests. And so I'd rather spend my time elsewhere. And I mean, it's a matter of framing, and you certainly can be nice, but the bottom line is you have every right to tell the person that you just don't wish to spend time with them anymore.
Um, yeah, I can't argue with that. If this was me and it was someone that I didn't enjoy spending time with, I wouldn't really particularly care about hurting their feelings. I would prefer to just be honest.
Well, yeah, I just don't see the need to be mean, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, but also I wouldn't bend over backwards to protect their feelings.
No, I
I
agree
would.
with that.
Mm. Um. So this brings up two other questions. I saw a post the other day on Reddit, and it was basically the gist of it was my life is fine, but I don't enjoy it anymore. Like I would like a more fulfilling life, but I feel obligated to continue living the life that I'm living. Um, because he has family and friends that rely on him, and he feels like he's stuck living this life that he doesn't enjoy. And this was his moral dilemma. Do I upset the balance and go after a life that is more fulfilling to me, even though, like, technically, I'm making enough money, I'm housed, like I have friends and family. And this was a genuine dilemma for him. Um,
Okay.
and it got me thinking about, do you think that people turn things into dilemmas even though they're not really a dilemma if you sit down and think about them?
Well, I do, but I don't know what your question is here. Robert Nasser says, I occasionally run into this in the OIS community. Some folks have a very different worldview from me and Amy, e.g., a persistent focus on negativity, evil, everything that's wrong in the world. Yeah, I could see where that would be the case, Robert.
Yeah. I mean, I have that in my life as well.
So, Rob, but I think that I would like to piggyback a little bit on Robert's comments. Because just because, say, we share the same general philosophy, and it doesn't even have to be objectivist. I mean, it can be we're Christians, we're Buddhists, whatever. It doesn't mean we're going to actually enjoy each other. People have different personalities and different focus in their lives, and you might both be right. The people that Robert's talking about might be right about the bad stuff in the world, and Robert's right about the good stuff in the world, and Robert just doesn't want to focus on that stuff because it doesn't enrich his life at all. And so you don't have to be associating with people. Now, the stuff that you're talking about here with this person, it's just I would bet if you were to sit down with the person, like put them on the couch, you know, not the casting couch, the therapist couch. What? You've had bad casting couch experiences? What's that look for? I don't get it. Either way.
Gutter brain. Gutter
Oh,
brain.
okay, whatever. Flip over. No, no, don't flip over. Listen, let's get back to the original topic at hand. If you were to sit this down with this person and question him, I'll bet you his life is the way it is because of an abundance of bad choices that he doesn't have to make, and it's filled with flawed premises about owing other people, and he keeps doing that and is miserable but feels he has to. He never stopped to ask the question, by what standard? Right? By what standard am I judging my own conduct? Is it a rational standard? Is it rooted in reality? Is it objective? Or is it just something that's been force fed me my whole life? And if he started to do that and started to recognize his right to live for himself and the morality of acting in his own interest, that stuff would change. But until he changes the fundamental that he's supposed to live for other people or make decisions based on what's going to make everybody else happy, he's screwed.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is sort of in a roundabout way what I'm talking about. Um,
Well, instead of going in a roundabout way, can we bring it home?
okay. Organized brain. So a lot of ethical dilemmas that I come across, right, in my research and in my whatever, they're not what makes an actual ethical dilemma?
When there's no good answer judged by logic, that there's no clear good answer, that
So
you're actually judging by the objective standard that your life and your well-being are your moral compass, right?
two valid obligations that genuinely conflict.
Or two bad choices, like two things that are going to harm you and you don't know which one's going to be worse. And that's the type of thing that I would say are ethical dilemmas. You like the
Okay.
song Burning House by Cam?
I've never heard it.
You should check it out. It's a good tune.
I don't think that we have the same taste in music.
Probably not. I have better taste. I'll go with that.
I'm sure. Have you ever heard the song Rapid Roy, the Stock Car Boy by Jim Croce? That's one of my favorite songs.
That sounds stupid. All right, back to your original point.
Okay, so a real ethical dilemma is either two bad choices or two valid obligations or values that genuinely conflict, right? A lot of the dilemmas that I come across, if you look at them from sort of, you know, an objectivist viewpoint, they dissolve, right? Because you have your values, your own interest, your own life. My dogs might go crazy in a second. And then the other one, the thing that is causing the dilemma or the contradiction is basically I should sacrifice myself. And because you don't want to do that deep down, it causes a dilemma, right?
Right, but that's all based on faulty premises, right? That
Yes.
their starting point is faulty. The starting point is that it's not ethical to do what's best for me. That's the starting point. That can create the problem. That doesn't mean it's always the problem, but that can create a problem.
How do you think is the best way for people to go about identifying when a dilemma that they're facing is real versus they need to sit down and reevaluate their premises?
Okay, so they should start watching this show because we discuss this
Hmm.
type of thing all the time. But I mean, just ask the question, by what standard? That's Ayn Rand's question, right? It's not mine, but it's by what standard am I making these judgments that this is the right way to live, or that I shouldn't do this or I shouldn't do that? Question the ethical beliefs, the moral values that you're clinging to, because they may be wrong. Ask, can you prove them? Can you demonstrate their correctness? Start that, and then read stuff like The Virtue of Selfishness by Ayn Rand. Listen to this show, do a variety of, this type of investigation.
Okay. So even people who even people who maybe know hmm, people who should know better. Is that a bad thing to say?
No,
Even people who should know better, right? They still they still sometimes struggle with something that from the outside
I'm tired.
you just froze on, like for me, on the weirdest face.
I was
Okay,
like,
so so
because I started to yawn. I'm trying. I'm exhausted. This is
same.
my circadian rhythms at this time in the day go like this. All
Yeah, it's
right,
9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock at night for me.
it's only
Okay,
2:42
so
here.
even people who should know better, right? They sometimes still struggle with a dilemma that's not really a dilemma, right? Like they know what their values are and they know what the right answer is, but they still struggle with making quote unquote the right choice.
Yeah.
Or they struggle with making a decision, even
Okay.
though if they sit down and think about it, they know what the right answer is. Why do you think that that happens?
I think we've talked about this
I
before.
don't care. I'm tired. You're tired.
Oh my God. So we just got to repeat stuff over and over?
Oh, yeah, over and over. This is the 18th time that we've spoken about it.
All right, listen. So Persephone's great, and I love teasing her. But nonetheless, what I think happens is we grow up, and as we grow up, we take in a lot of information from the environment, and it becomes a part of us, whether we want it to or not. Before we're even capable of assessing, the truth or falsity of the stuff, or the rightness or wrongness, and that stuff doesn't just go away the day that we learn differently. It's still embedded, and it has to be worked out. So we still have subconscious premises like it's wrong to do something for myself if somebody else needs something, or I should spend time with somebody even if I don't want to. So that's where that conflict comes from, and we just ultimately have to do what in logic we see as the correct thing, ignore the emotion, do what's right, and then work to uproot the contradiction and get rid of the faulty belief. It takes time, it takes effort, but it's better than having it happen all the time.
This is something that we've spoken about before, but I also do think that it is one of those things that bears repeating because it it is simple, but it's not easy,
Yeah,
right?
right.
That's another one of the things that we've discussed in the past. So another sort of related thought that I was having,
You were having a thought about super chats and super stickers?
I was having a thought about super chats and super stickers, and for everyone in the audience who might have a Twitch account, to head over to Twitch and go subscribe to Capitalist Corner on
Yeah.
Twitch,
Capitalist
um,
Corner on Twitch.
because you'll be doing us a huge favor.
You will.
Um, okay, so here's what I was thinking when I was thinking about this. Little bit of backstory.
All right,
So
backstory.
so when people are trying to lose weight, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that they get told is that they should track what they eat
All right.
during the day. And the reason this helps is because a lot of people are either eating on autopilot or they are underestimating how much they eat at the end of the day. And so just the simple act of writing down what they're eating without them making any other changes to their diet or to their lifestyle. The only change that they make is they sit down and they write down everything that they eat. Just by doing that, a lot of people lose weight because all of a sudden they're conscious of the decisions that they're making,
All right.
right? They're conscious about what they're eating. My dogs are about to start barking.
It's
Do you
okay. Don't
think
worry about the dogs. Just get to the point.
you you get to the point? Do
I
you think
can't.
that
I got to wait for you.
do you think that that is a good way to approach the rest of your life?
I don't know about the rest of your life, but I certainly think that writing things down helps to clarify. Like, there's been a lot of times in my life where I'm wicked stressed out, and it's like swirling. You know what I mean? And what when I find that when I write down, okay, what is stressing me out right now? And I'll say, well, this, and then maybe something that I'm not aware of, or even what might be stressing me out. What's in my periphery? What's in my environment that might be causing this? And when I do that, the stuff becomes clearer because right now it's just swimming, right? But when I put it on paper, I see it, and now I can say, okay, what can I do about this? What can I do about this? Maybe I can't do anything about this. How can I react to it? And so I do think, yes, that writing things down can be a big, big help. What is DST? Oh, daylight savings time.
Daylight savings time. Yeah, Catherine, it's bugging me as well. Everything is wonky.
Oh
Um,
boy, what?
you're just mean. That's
I
all.
am. I'm a
Yeah, you
mean
are.
boy, and that's it.
Nasty boy. Um,
Nasty, nasty boy.
so how how do you think is that was a bad phrasing? How do you think is a good way for people to go about being more conscious about the the decisions that they're making
Look at
in
that, three
real
ninety
time?
nine super sticker.
That was for me, right, Kathy? That was
Well,
that that was that was
well. All
that
right,
was
so
you that was Kathy saying that you are mean.
I am. So I think writing it down is something to do. I think thinking about it, like I like to do that before bed. Often is I'll just sit there and let my thoughts go. You know what I mean? And I can, when that happens, I can get some clarity sometimes. Plus, it's relaxing. But just make the effort to be aware of what you're thinking and what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, the behaviors you're engaging in. And maybe you have to write them down, maybe you don't. But there has to be a concerted effort to become aware, to know what it is that you're doing, to know what's happening. Is that not good? You look like you're pissed.
No, that's a good answer. And I think it's a good practice. I'm going to be real honest. Today was hard to prep for because usually I have things going on potentially in my own life that I can discuss. Right now I'm tired. So,
So I just got I got an email, okay, from a friend that's kind of funny. But it's a little silly, but it's funny. Should I share it?
yes.
All right. He says to me, whatever happened to the good old days when wars had descriptive names? The Hundred Years' War, the French and Indian War, the Napoleonic Wars. Now we name wars for the geographical location wherein they are largely fought. I think Iran deserves better. I think we should revive the descriptive approach. As such, I propose we call the current war the Small Penis War.
I,
He says this captures the reasons behind the conflict. Trump and Hegseth both exude small penis energy and have embroiled us in a pointless conflict because of it. Obviously, this guy that's sending me the email is anti-war. He said, I suggest you start referring to this war on your podcast as the Small Penis War. Hopefully it will go viral and history will record the conflict appropriately. You have to admit it's catchy.
it is. I mean, can we change it to the small dick war? 'Cause I don't.
Sure. I mean, I don't care, but I mean, obviously it was meant to be humorous. It wasn't meant to be shared on the show. But I do think, look, I think that it's relevant because, like, some people have questioned before: is humor a part of living the ethical life? And I think yes. I think that, and let me make the case. Can I make the case?
Yes, make the
And I'm not
case.
saying you have to find that funny. Maybe you're real big on the war, whatever. You don't have to find that funny. But the point is that humor is enjoyable. Should be enjoyed. Enjoyment, pleasure is a big inspiration and reward. It's a reward for past action, and it's an it's it's inspiration to keep going. And to me, laughing out loud, humor is just so enjoyable. So I think that humor is a part of the good life. And I don't see it as not, even if sometimes it's silly humor. So what? The Enchantador is hitting on this. He says it should be the teeny peeny war. That's
I
silly,
I
but
agree.
it's also laughable.
Why would I mean, I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this, but why would anybody think that humor isn't part of an ethical life?
I think that there's people, and I don't know that they would put it explicitly like that. I think what they would say is, for instance, that was an inappropriate thing to read on a show about ethics. They would couch it in terms like that, or this is not the time to be laughing, right? I think that there's a tendency sometimes for people who want to be intellectuals that they think that showing a sense of humor will lead to them not being taken seriously, or maybe they don't take others seriously because they have a sense of humor. I I like to laugh. If somebody doesn't want to take me seriously because I have a sense of humor, don't. I don't really need you to. Um, I'm going to build an audience based on who I am, or I'm not going to build an audience at all. That's all there is to it. And that doesn't mean I can't learn, I can't change, I can't alter. Like, I've talked to you, sometimes I get aggravated and I become too combative. I wish I had more patience. So I'm not saying I can't improve as a human or improve as a host, but I'm not going to fundamentally alter who I am or pretend to be something I'm not to bring on a bigger audience. Just not going to do it. I like myself. I love myself. I think I'm a smart person. I think I'm well informed in the topics I talk about, and I think the topics are important. That's what I'm going to do. And that's it. And I mean, and again, it's not to say I can't improve. I can, and I will. But I am who I am.
Yeah, I like who you are.
Thank you.
Um, I think a lot of that's a rude thing to say. I think a lot of people are more interested in how they appear to other people. Like they want to appear intelligent, they want to appear like
Right.
moral, they want to appear good, and they end up denying themselves like joy in life
I agree.
because they want to seem smart, or they want to seem whatever they are, and it makes them liars. So I saw a post yesterday. See, did I mention this yesterday? Where
I don't know what
the
you're doing or what you
the
did
person
yesterday. How do I know?
the person was talking about sort of performative empathy, right? And I think that there's so much performance happening nowadays across so many different aspects of life. People are performing happiness, people are performing empathy, people are performing performing intelligence, people are performing everything. And in doing so, they are not actually living their lives the way that they would if they weren't performing for an audience. People post on Instagram, and they adjust their appearance on Instagram to make
Oh, that's
themselves
so
look.
dumb. That's so stupid. It's
It
like I
is.
don't understand that at all. Like, okay, so you're gonna put this up on Facebook or Instagram, and you got all the filters. First of all, it's usually obvious there's a filter there. Secondly, what's the point? If somebody meets you, they're gonna see. They're gonna
Yeah,
see the truth. This baby, this is all beauty, all real.
but we
So, what was I
I
going to say? I was actually going to say something I thought was important, and now I forgot what it was.
because you were so busy looking at yourself.
No, I was busy responding to your comment about the people that are doing the filters and all that stuff. But you're right; it's performative, and like, what is the point of living that way? I mean, like you're putting on a mask, sometimes literally, for other people to not see you. You're either going to like me or you're not. Like me or dislike me for who I am, not based on some uh, BS that I can put out there.
Mm. I don't know. I don't know why people. I mean, I do. I have. I do know some of
Do
why
you? I got a
people.
question for you. Do you know why when, for instance, like say somebody asked me, let's see, say somebody says to me, "Hey, can you make a bunch of videos for Patreon?" Right? And so I do it. I make a whole bunch, and I say, "Yeah, but after a bit, can we release them generally?" Do those get released? Would be something. Have they been released anywhere?
This is a purely hypothetical situation, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
In this purely hypothetical situation, yes, they will eventually get released when the person who is supposed to be releasing them is slightly less busy.
Oh, sounds like this person has a lot of excuses. I'm just gonna say. I'm putting it out there.
The who are you to judge another person? Yeah, judge not.
I don't buy into that. I say no.
No,
Okay.
judge,
But
judge, and prepare to be judged.
yes, like that's this gets kind of to what Robert was talking about earlier. If somebody, even if they have the same general beliefs that I have, right? If they have no sense of humor, I don't want to be around them. It's like, you ever see the episode of Seinfeld where he's with the lady and he tells a joke and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's funny. That's funny." Yeah, I'm dropping my car off in the morning.
Yeah, I also can't. I don't like
Can't.
being. I can't be around people who don't have a sense of humor. I can't. It just drives me insane.
No, it's boring. I don't want to be around boring people. I want to be around my friend Danny where we can make fun of each other for hours on end and have fun doing it. Like, that's what I want in life. People that I can enjoy myself with, that I can laugh with, that, we can joke, we can bust balls.
Yeah.
This guy, like, this is what I don't like, though. It's like, I'm not slow. He says, make sure you put the part with it. What did you think I was going to drop the car off and not leave the starter with it?
Someone took their dog to the vet and didn't bring the dog with them.
They just went to the
So
vet without the dog?
they went to the vet for their dog had a scheduled appointment, and they got to the vet and they were like, "Hi, I'm here for like Rodney's appointment." And the vet was like, "Okay, where's Rodney?" And they went, "Oh shit, I left him at home." So, I mean, it's entirely possible. Some people, they make mistakes sometimes. Yes,
I would
Danny
not
says
make I would not make that
people make
mistake.
mistakes. Um, the thing is, with the humor thing, right? Yes, I people need to be able to make jokes, but there is also a flip side to that where you sometimes have someone who does nothing but make jokes, and that can be equally as frustrating.
Can I tell you what I find frustrating?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I was saying
It's
you find
it's
me.
people that
You find me
it's
frustrating.
no, it's not you at all. It's some objectivists, and I think the other
Mm.
objectivists perhaps will relate to this here. So the American Capitalist Party, of which I am the vice chairman, posts a meme. In the meme, it says there's a headline. It says, "The state produces nothing. It can only confiscate what others have produced. The state therefore can guarantee us nothing." Pretty decent quote. It's from Murray Rothbard, right? And Murray Rothbard's there. And somebody has to come in and say, just a reminder, this man was not, capital N, capital O, capital T, a capitalist, but a whim worshipping anarchist. There is one and only one thinker who understands that political theory and moral theory cannot be divorced. And he gets 2 likes, and I'm curious to see who it is. No, actually 1 like and 1 laughing face. It's like, dude, the world is not that serious. It's a meme. It's a meme, and it's actually a good quote. And it's also by a guy who was a brilliant economist. I get it. I don't agree with him on politics either. But that doesn't mean that every time somebody quotes Murray Rothbard, I have to step in and say, "Oh, did you know that he's an anarchist?" It's like, all right, I get it. Come on, like Jesus Christ.
I I find it really sad when someone can only learn from approved sources. I
Right.
find that a really sad and stupid way to live your life. I think that a it's
Why'd
gone
you
very
freeze?
because Crow Cage says Michael is talking about the autistic persons.
He's talking that's slang within libertarian and objectivist communities, like for people that everything is taken absolutely literally. You can't step out of it at all.
Objectivism draws out the autists. Yeah, anyway, so what I was saying was I find it very sad when people think that they can only learn from approved sources. The type of people who say, if you read anything except nonfiction, then you're an unintelligent person.
Right. I like. I would be interested to know. I would ask that person how much of Rothbard they've actually read. And the thing is this. So I've read his magnum opus, Man, Economy, and State, which is one of the best economics books ever written, in my view. I've also read his Ethics of Liberty. I've read the Libertarian Manifesto. I've read Anatomy of the State. I've read Egalitarianism Against Nature and other essays. I've read In Defense of Pure A Priorism. A lot of it's terrible. A lot of it's really, really good. But like, what should I do if he says something good? No, I can't. I can't approve of that. No, I'm not doing that. And I would wonder if the person who wrote that has even read the guy, or if he's just taking somebody else's word for it, because that's a common sort of thing that's said. Yes, he was an anarchist. Okay, whatever.
I just think it's dumb.
It is. If like Nikos Soteropoulos asked me the other day about my method of study, and I said, well, one thing is that I never just say I can't, I can't get something from somebody. If there's something I can get from reading Stoicism or existentialism, I don't say that's not within the objectivist corpus. I'm not reading that. I'll read it, and if I disapprove of it or disagree, I disagree. And if there's something I can gain, I gain, and that's it, and it's good. I'm never going to shut myself off to information or to people that are making arguments because they're different from mine. That just seems like a very lonely, lonely life.
So
It's also not a very good way to go about learning.
no, it's not. Ian Gilmore said, "Where Rothbard ended up makes me hesitant of wanting to read him." What do you think about that?
I don't know what he means by where he ended up. I don't like where he ended up either. He called himself a paleo libertarian. He started to, praising Hans Hermann Hoppe, and I think that it's interesting. I think it was bad, and I think his anarchy was very bad and poorly thought out. I think that his Ethics of Liberty was largely plagiarized, or not. I don't want to say because plagiarized is really a legal term. It was taken from Ayn Rand, and he didn't give credit for the ideas. That doesn't mean that his economics wasn't absolutely brilliant. It's funny because Robert says something here. He says everyone you meet has something to teach you. Find out what it is and learn it. And that reminds me of a quote from somebody that I disagree with a lot, but I like to quote, and that's Emerson. He said, "Every man is my superior in some way, and in that I learn of him." And like that quote has always stuck with me. As another Emerson quote where he says, "What you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying."
Hmm.
That quote sticks with me, and it always helps me. So what am I going to do? Say no, I'm not going to learn from. But anyway, I think that's very important for people. I think you need to be willing to at least examine the arguments of others. You might actually. I know, for a lot of people, it's difficult to accept that they might actually be wrong. Even me. Look, even me. I am sometimes wrong. I know it's hard to believe, but sometimes I'm wrong. But I'll tell you what I'm not wrong about, and that's cutting this episode. We're already 5 minutes over time, and I've got a job to do. I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate everybody that's engaged in the chat here. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the viewers. Persephone, any messages?
Yes, please go subscribe on Twitch. Please follow us on Spotify. Please go check out the Everyday Ethics Patreon, um, which Michael just put up on the screen now.
It disappears. All right. Thank you,
Excuses,
everybody. We'll
excuses.
see you tomorrow, same time. Till then, be ethical.